Right, shall we do this? I think we shall. Hello, folksicles. Yes, it is Thursday. It is 7:30ish. There's about 60 of you watching, which means notifications must be working a bit better than before. Yeah, if you're here, say hello in the comments. Let me know you're here. We're going in a sort of slightly slimmed down version this time. I'm slowly building up the assets on the screen and that sort of stuff. So text will come back in due course. Main thing is I just wanted to start the streaming, make sure the webcams are working. Now with that in mind, I just very quickly want to check my desk cams, make sure that these are coming across. And can you let me know in the comments how the sound is sounding? Is it loud enough? Are you okay with that? Right, there's my desk shot. You should still be able to see my beautiful mug over in the corner. And let's get a cutting mat because we're building today. Now, Fred's downstairs getting himself a brew. So Fred's going to be coming up soon. Oh, don't wash blue foam. Why not? Oh. Uh-oh, screen is very odd. What's very odd about the screen, Cat? Weird aspect ratio on the screen. Let's have a look. Come on, switch this. Well, let me switch to studio mode. Hakala Malumi. I haven't checked my Facebook messages yet, so I'm not sure. And in true style, OBS isn't letting me switch over to studio. So I can't change the whatchamacallit. Right, we're just going to have to stick with this weird style for this one. Your face looks more odd than usual. Why, thank you. Cheers, Cat. Appreciate that, darling. Won't let me switch to studio mode, will it? I don't know. We'll just have to give it a go. Anyway. Webcam is in 3.4. Is it? Right, I need to get into the settings. I can't do that once I'm streaming. It starts messing things up. So, I'm sorry, guys. What we'll do is we'll switch over to the desk one. Switch over to the desk one. Oh, for God's sake, come on. I've just switched over to the desk one. Why aren't you switching? See this? This has been my life with live streaming lately. Right, bring it back up. Right, can we switch now? It won't let me switch streams. Brilliant. Yeah. Now, for some reason, it's decided I'm not going to be allowed to switch streams. Thank you. So I can't switch between the scene. Why has it stopped doing that? But at least you're back. Yes, I am back in the studio. We just saw the desk shot. It just switched to the desk shot. Right, I'm going to close this. I'm going to give it a quick restart, guys. So the stream's going to break for just a minute or two, and then I'll be straight back, okay? Right, I should be back. And the desk things are it now, and it should be looking a bit better. Kez texted me, how's it going? Just started, baby. Right, guys. Yeah, see, there's going to be a couple of hiccups while we get this back in. I know there's a setting in my webcam settings that will fix the screen and get it back to a proper 16:9 instead of 4:3. Yeah, I just can't do that while I'm live streaming, and to be truthful, I'm just glad we've got a live stream. Come on in, mate. Hey, Fred.
Right.
Fred, everyone.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Right.
Return the
Oh, thank you.
Lend to me, thank you.
Yeah. If you haven't got it, cracking book.
Smashing, it's absolutely amazing.
Some of the stuff they do in it.
Yeah.
I'll have to take you up. It's only in Nottingham.
I'd love to see this actually, yeah. But you know what always occurs to me is when I look at these, futuristic scenarios like this, is that, what Einstein said, that his theory of relativity started off as an act of imagination.
Yeah.
So you have to imagine something before it can become real.
Yeah, very true. So are we predicting the future?
In a sense, yeah.
Trust me, we don't want a Warhammer future, mate. Trust me on that one. Yeah, everyone's saying hello, Fred. Yes, what's your Fred's joining me in the studio this evening just because a bit of company for me, to be truthful. Yeah.
Well, it's a privilege to be with you tonight, Mark.
Oh, he keeps talking me up. He does. Yeah. Now the battle plan tonight is I am actually making terrain. Yeah, I know it's a rarity. Me make terrain? Who'd have thought it? You have got videos coming up, but what I want to be working on, and if we just go to the death shot, is we're going to be making some sandbars. Yeah, so we're going to be making some of these. Okay, and these are 6mm 1/300th scale sandbars. Okay, so that's the battle plan for today's show. At least we're still on air. We certainly are on air, thank God. So that's what I'm doing. Fred's got some pictures and we're going to talk about beaches and colours and that sort of stuff. Do you like my beach colours, mate?
Yeah, spot on. When you look at the comparison.
You see, he was coming up here to teach me beach colours and I've nailed him before he's got here.
Yeah. I'm redundant, you don't need me though.
Right, he's going to have to be my assistant. You can't do much because your hands are dodgy. Sit yourself down, get yourself comfortable because we're here for a while. Right, now we have got Fred here with us. So for any sort of colour questions, Fred is the man to ask. Now obviously I'm going to be pottering along and doing my thing as we're doing stuff. So if you've got any colour related questions or art related questions, then fire them up and we'll see if we can answer them. Now remember, there are links down below towards the old Patreon, the PayPal donations and all that sort of thing. There's a link to Streamlabs. If you donate on Streamlabs, you get an announcement on screen and there's this tip jar thing there. Yeah, apparently that does something. Not sure what it does. We'll find out when someone makes a donation. If you're wondering about what we're collecting for tonight, basically we're collecting for a bigger screen so I don't have to do this to read the comments. Because my really big screen died over the winter. Yeah, and so that's what we're collecting for. So if you'd like to support the stream, if you're glad that we're back in the studio, links down below. And I'll keep checking on the old Patreon, on the old PayPal to make sure everything's good. Just reply to Kez. And very quickly pull that up. So you've travelled a lot. What's your favourite beach?
Favourite beach?
Yeah, you must have a favourite beach.
Yeah, actually, I only discovered it a few years ago, and that's Camber Sands in Kent.
Camber Sands?
Camber.
Camber Sands?
Yeah.
So why is that your favourite beach, dude?
Well, I've got some photographs of it right here, actually, but they don't really show it off as good as it is. The reason why I find it so interesting visually is because it's one of those beaches that's, how can I explain, it's got riptides.
Oh yeah.
And it creates lots of kind of rivulets in the sand, like rivers with sandbanks and then more rivers and then sandbanks and then more rivers. So it isn't just beach and then sea. You've got beach, water, beach, water, beach, water.
So you get the gradient of the colours going down.
You get these kind of like sandbanks that the water collects in. So visually it makes it really a lot more interesting than just beach and then sea.
Right. Yeah. Right. Got some Tamiya weathering powder. We'll have to get some more soon. It's nice stuff, that is. Right, okay, so what I'm basically doing right now is I'm just going to draw out a couple of basic sandbank shapes and start cutting them out. So we'll just chat as we do that, but that's basically what I'm doing. I'll use a marker pen to draw them out, and then I'll use my blade to actually shape them and to cut them out. Yeah, so my favourite beach has got to be Dilys Beach in North Wales.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, I grew up there. Yeah, and the reason why I like it the most is it's got a river that comes down straight through the middle of it. Oh. That bisects the beach. Yeah,
and
so we always used to play in the river on the beach.
Yes.
Yeah, which was a weird situation to be in, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so sandbanks.
So salt water and fresh water together.
Yeah, very much so. Do one like that. Do another one like that. Yeah, I'm a bit higgledy-piggledy with my... See how they cut out. Okay. Bit random, innit? So we'll do those, do some more on here. This is 1mm plastic card. I'm using this for my bases because it doesn't warp. Don't worry, there's a video out on Tuesday which goes through a load of different pieces, making these pieces, rocks, and then doing wave effects with what's that? I think that one's Artex. Yeah.
Interesting.
And then no, that one's Artex. The other one was filler. Yeah. That video is coming out on Tuesday for you. So don't worry too much about what I'm doing now. I'm just repeating what I've done in that video. So if you can't follow along, don't worry, guys. Yeah, it is coming.
Yeah, you can almost sculpt Artex, can't you? It's so thick and make it. It's like meringue.
Oh yeah, I did that with what you call it.
Yeah.
It's making waves with it.
Oh yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to play with those.
Yeah. That works brilliantly well.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wrong. That's too thin. I'll do that one. This probably isn't the most efficient use of card, but right, that's how many pieces? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 pieces should be enough, shouldn't it? Shouldn't need any more than that. So all I'm going to do is cut these out. Yeah, using a blade. Obviously, I'm just going to go multiple cuts is better than one big cut. You know what I mean? Everyone's talking about Tamia. Hey chaps, would love to know if Fred has a recommendation medium for speeding up the drying time on oils. How would you speed up the drying time on oils?
There's a number of different ways you could do that. Using more terps in your mixture will obviously dry it quicker by evaporation.
So do you mix your oils with terps then?
Yes. I mix my oils with a medium that I compose myself. I don't buy a ready-made medium. I mix it up myself.
Right.
And I use 1 part stand oil, which is a very, very thick Dutch oil that is literally like treacle. You can stand upside down in the jar and it doesn't move. Really? Yeah, it's got a very, very high coefficient of viscosity.
I can imagine.
So it's really puddingy. And you put 1 part of that in with about 5 parts of turpentine, which then kind of waters it down. And then you put 1 part of Damar varnish in. And the Damar varnish actually acts as a dryer because it oxidizes the paint. It's actually in the medium. When you mix it in with your paint, it gets in the paint. And when the paint is drying, the varnish dries it through from underneath, if you know what I mean. Right. So the drying process happens all the way through rather than it forming a skin on the surface.
Yeah, and then you're waiting for, much like when you use the acrylic gels.
Yes.
Where the skin cures and then you're left with the uncured bit waiting on the inside.
And it's puddingy underneath, yes, that's right, yeah.
Because that's always a problem, isn't it? Because it's airtight once the skin's formed.
Yes.
And so actually
it won't dry underneath very easily unless you've got an absorbent surface you originally put it on. It won't absorb underneath. So you could end up technically with something that remains wet underneath.
Yeah, I mean I've had that problem with acrylic texture gels.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Where I've applied them a bit too heavy and they've just they've cured over the top, and then you can see, because the acrylic texture gels, when they've got a dye in them, they're opaque when they're wet and translucent when they're dry. So you end up with this translucent skin and the opaque bit trapped in the middle of it.
Right, yes.
And trying to wait for that to dry is a nightmare.
Right, yes. With oil paint as well, there is just one other thing I should add. That is in your mixture of colours. Some colours dry quicker than others. So if you put a little bit of what's called a metallic colour in your paint, a bit of burnt umber, a bit of raw umber, a bit of manganese blue, believe it or not, just a tilly little bit in will massively speed up the drying process of all the rest of the colours in the mixture. Yeah.
By throwing manganese blue in?
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, it's called a secretive colour, which means it makes it dry quicker.
I had no idea that a different colour would accelerate the drying of oil paints.
Yes.
I mean, I can understand certain materials, but the actual idea of a colour doing it.
Yeah, certain colours have a very, very powerful, strong drying curve.
Fred gives you more info in 2 minutes than you would get in a whole class. I found something interesting about our Fred. Our Fred, used to teach at the local university. Used to teach fine art, didn't you?
Drawing, yes. Laugh drawing.
Yeah. So Fred used to teach. Now the studio manager, used to be one of your students, Dan, didn't he, at one point?
One of them did, yes.
Yeah. So, and then we found out that also Terry, wasn't he head of department?
Terry Shave?
Yeah.
In America, I think.
No, at Staffs he was head of department as well.
Was he really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, so it's like we've got half the university teaching departments and students and stuff, and we're in the studios.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's quite handy.
Yes, I know Terry actually taught in America, I think in Kansas, I think he said.
Yeah. He does some lovely work.
Oh, he does, yes, very interesting work. He's great with colour.
Yeah.
Good with colour, Terry is. Yeah.
Just let me cut this out. Watch me fingers bosicle.
Yeah.
Ah.
So that's like a card with a plastic covering on that?
No, it's plastic card.
Oh, it's plastic all the way through, okay.
Yeah, it's just solid plastic. You get in various different grades. You can get it from paper thin all the way up to about 2-3 mil. Yeah, I think you can get thicker, can't you guys? Someone was mentioning on Sunday's live stream. Yeah, but it just makes really good low profile bases because it's tougher than sort of anything else other than metal at this thinness. But you can't use MDF, you can't use EPVC at this thinness.
That's too thin,
Yeah, well, it's too thick to get the low profile. The benefit of those is small scale. The base of the edge or the edge of the base. It's negligible. You know what I mean?
It will just melt into the water that you want to put it into.
Exactly.
Yeah, the resin water.
Well, I won't be putting it's just to go straight down on top of a play mat, but it's low enough that it isn't going to impede gameplay.
I'm with you, yes.
If I had like an MDF base, it'd be like an island.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you throw your dice and they hit.
Yeah, exactly.
All the time, yeah.
So that's 2 done. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler.
Neither can I.
He can draw amazing straight lines freehand. It's freaky. And you've always been able to do that, haven't you?
I've got a pretty steady hand, actually, yes. I would have made a good sniper.
If you haven't wandered drunk into art college, you mean?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, during World War I, actually, they actually made a regiment out of artists who were all snipers or sharpshooters.
Come on.
Yes, the King's Own Rifles, they were called.
Out of artists?
Yes, they were all artists and designers, because they realised that people who are good with their hands and their eyes are going to be good with aiming.
Shooting?
Yeah, aiming things, yeah.
Ah.
So they used them largely as snipers.
God, can you imagine the Sergeant Major who had to deal with that lot? God. Right, we want to train you this lot up to snipers. Yeah. What have they done in the past? They're artists.
Because they also had them doing the camouflage as well. Artists designing and painting the camouflage on things.
Well, that makes sense.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always say war inspires creativity.
It does, yes. It makes people inventive.
Yeah. I like the inflatable elephants they put on top of tanks to make it look like they were a herd of elephants moving through Africa. And they're literally inflatable elephants that they put on top of tanks.
Good heavens.
I know, they're crazy, isn't it?
It's wonderful, some of the things people come up with. And they say fact is stranger than fiction, don't they? Truth is stranger than fiction, yeah.
I usually cut plastic card with scissors. You can cut it with scissors, Bill, but the one problem I find is that if I was to cut this with scissors, there'd be a reasonable chance of me warping it or bending it. And one of the key things with this project is I need to keep these pieces flat, which is why I'm taking my time not to sort of overly bend them. I mean, I should just, lightly score and snap them, but that involves bending them too much. So I've got, that needs a bit more of a bevel in it, because that's a little bit wonky donkey. Yeah, that's a bit better. They've got to be sanded a little soon, so you'll have to put up with that, I think. That's too thin. That's a bit too thin, actually. See the difference?
Oh yeah, it's
you can feel the difference.
Finer grade, isn't it? Yeah.
And then feel that one.
Yeah, it's thicker and stiffer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. In which case, I've got another piece of thick one here. That's same size. So I'll just do a couple more on this one then. You, sir, are a god of men. Love your channel. Just found you. Welcome aboard, Jeffrey. Oh, we've got about 80, 90 people watching. So yeah, live shows. We are back now doing our Thursday shows. I'm going to start doing this thing on a Thursday. I am going to be streaming live from the studio 7:30 onwards. We're probably going to go to about 9, half 9 tonight, with it being our first stream and breaking back into it. After that, we're probably going to do 2-hour streams. I'm also going to start inviting my mates down, yeah, for not just modelling, but a bit of gaming. Me and Fred, we had a game of tanks before the stream, didn't we?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
I'm glad we weren't paying for money.
Oh, first donation in. Angela has sent us a £5 towards our monitor.
Nice one.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
I won't be able to do. I'll be able to read comments, but there's Angela. Wonky donkey. Yeah. Wasn't Bob Ross a drill sergeant? He was, wasn't he?
I believe he was in the army. Yes, I didn't know he was a drill sergeant.
Yeah, I heard that as well, because
Really?
it was something like, the reason why he's so pleasant is because he did all the shouting he wanted to do in the army.
Yeah, I was going to say it's very, very soft voice for a sergeant. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not sergeant material when you normally think of what sergeants are.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. Their job is to
Scream.
well, basically make the soldiers more afraid of them than the enemy.
You're not far wrong there, mate. So we are £5 on the way to our hit. I reckon probably about 150 we need. So 140 to go. If you do enjoy the stream, links down below, guys. And in the meantime, yeah. Oh, he was in Air Force, was he? It's hard to imagine Bob being angry. Yeah.
Yes,
Pagan's
he's
saying
so
he was an
calm.
officer. I always thought he was a sergeant.
Yeah.
I didn't realise he was an officer.
Yeah, I'd heard he was in the military. I didn't have any idea in what capacity. Yeah. So he was in the Air Force then, the USAF.
USAF.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Cut that out. So, yeah, that one's done. It's not much, but every little helps we find. It does, Angela. Thank you, Ducky, and it does help. Yeah. I am back in the stream of things, literally. Yeah, and you've got plenty of tutorials coming now because the content is flowing. Yeah. If you're on Patreon, tomorrow, Tuesday's vid will go up on Patreon tomorrow. So any patrons, yeah, you can watch that one early, guys. Got to be careful with this. I don't want to warp it. Yeah, and then just cut that one out. That's still thinner than that one.
It's quite amazing how such a thin material will take such a large amount of Artex on it like that and still remain as flat.
Oh, yeah.
It's incredible.
Well, Artex is really good. It's a non-warping material. Yeah, it doesn't shrink. Yeah, so it's perfect for these sort of things.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. If you use PVA and stuff like that, then you're going to have problems because it's going to cause warping.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, and with these being flat and long, they are very susceptible to warping.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we have to use materials, all the materials that are non-warp.
Yeah.
So that's actually milliput. Yeah, because milliput doesn't warp when it dries.
Right.
So I can put that on, layer it down, and I know it's not going to warp as it cures. Hi, have you ever heard of Dust 1974? I've seen it going around a bit. I've seen it at a few gaming conventions. It's sort of a World War III weird sort of sci-fi mix.
Oh, right.
So if you imagine what World War III would have been like if the Nazis' plans had advanced with the big super things and their walkers and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's not a game I've played, to be truthful. But then again, there's that many games nowadays. It's hard to actually keep on top of all the games that people do play.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
See you later, Pat. Oh, Pagan saying, no, he wasn't an officer, he was a master sergeant.
Right.
Yeah. I'm assuming that's something equivalent to their sergeant majors or something like that.
I think that's a bit like a quartermaster sergeant, I think. Is that the same as a quartermaster sergeant?
No, I wouldn't imagine so. Quartermaster is, a very specific British military term.
Oh, yeah, probably right, yeah.
Right, so we've got 5 odd doers. I think Conflict 47 looks better with BA rules. I like Conflict 47. Conflict 47 is another one of these weird sci-fis where what would have happened if alien technology had come into World War II.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so you get this weird mix of like Nazi zombies and all this sort of stuff that comes along. Yeah. It's gaming at the end of the day, so you get all sorts of mixes.
Interesting. I never cease to be amazed at how incredibly inventively imaginative wargaming has become over the years.
Oh,
actually.
mate, it's crazy.
It's just exploded, hasn't it, into something
Yeah,
really amazing.
It's absolutely crazy
Yeah.
what it's exploded into.
Yeah. Used to be a few little lead soldiers and
It did.
and a yard rule, or foot rule.
Right, sticking around max away for a while. Okay. Right. So I've got these done. My next job is I need to build the actual sandbanks or cut the sandbanks out for them. So for that, yeah, we'll use 5mm blue foam. I'm going to be wasteful again. I'm very wasteful. Right.
That's a clever idea, using a cocktail stick to mark it.
Well, I could use a pen, but if it marks it, it marks it. That's all I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll cut these out and then we can start beveling them. If you've got any questions for us, guys, while we're live, just ask away. But no, I want to start getting, like, you know, Mike and Jace down and you down and gaming on a Thursday as well as live streaming.
Yes, that'd be good. That'd be interesting. Like I say, I'm a bit rusty. It's many years since I.
You were a war gamer.
Yeah, years ago. Yes. Yeah.
Back in the days when you cast your own models.
Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, wargaming's come a long way. I'll have to take you up to
indeed.
Warhammer World, to be truthful, and show you the event space and what they've got up there.
Fascinating. Yeah.
It's amazing when you go in there.
Yeah. There's some very skilled people who
I got a cat we call Question: will there be cake? Only when I get home. Evening, Gary. Only when I get home, mate. Because that's waiting for me when I get home. Right, cut them out of there, and then we'll drop that one out of that bit there. Right. Yeah, done. Right, I can just potter along. Yeah, Warhammer World is fantastic. I like it. I'm working on Vader's castle board. What's the cheapest decent way to make it look like lava? Right, mate, hold your horses. I'm literally working on I'm working on a very similar project at the moment, and I'm doing lava on that. It's going to be a lot easier for me to to sort of show you on that than try and explain on this. So just keep an eye on the channel for the lava stuff. Should be coming over the next month.
That's caused by pyroclastic flow, isn't it? When the molten rock.
Yeah. Oof, I'll tell you, that goes at some speed as well.
I believe it travels around about 40-50 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, which is.
You don't want to be caught in it, that's for sure.
It's really alarming. Yeah.
Right, pull that one into there. I don't have to be too fancy with these edge cuts because I'm going to be beveling them down anyway. So I just need to get a rough cut to fit with whichever bit they've come from. So that looks like, no, that one. It's like a jigsaw, isn't it?
Match up the pairs now, yeah.
So we've got that one. Cutting this one out. I'm trying not to go too fast so I don't cut my fingers.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm trying to go fast enough so it's not bloody boring to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, there has been literally times when we've tuned into live streams and literally watched paint dry. Then again, that's a professional occupation for you, isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah. I remember years ago, people often used to say it's about as interesting as watching paint dry, isn't it? But actually, watching paint dry is quite interesting.
You would say that.
It does change, actually.
You would say that. Thank you, Kat. Kat's doing the donation thing. Hey, Joanne. It is all appreciated. I'm just glad the stream's working at the minute. especially after the little hiccup we had at the start.
Did you have a technical problem?
Yeah, I had to restart the stream.
Oh, right.
Because I wasn't sure if it was even working properly. But it came back, we're good, and we're here. So I'm happy about that, and I think my lot are happy that I'm back in the studio.
It's beginning to get a little bit past the depths of the winter now, so the studio's a little bit more habitable.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
Although tonight's a bit cold.
These studios can freeze.
Oh,
Yeah.
because we're in the old industrial building, yes.
Yeah.
This building was actually designed to be cool because it would have had the kilns running 24/7.
Well, that's it. It was
With the
designed
pottery.
because it would have had hot pottery and hundreds of workers in it.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, so they needed to cool it down. And then when those artists move in, we're like, it's so nice. Well, I won't say it's so nice, but it's interesting, yeah, when you get new artists in the summer
Yes.
and they have no idea yet. You know what I mean?
Poor innocents.
Yeah. And they come in and they're like, oh, it's a bit nippy today. And you're just like, you have no idea.
Wait till January.
Yeah, wait till January, February.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something when you go for a pee and there's steam coming out of the toilet.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I'll go on that. That's a bit warped. I have to flatten that.
Can you kind of like bend it in the reverse?
I'll just put some weight on it while it dries.
Oh, okay.
And that'll dry it flat.
Sometimes with things you can just kind of like just...
You can, but the problem is, I often find that when you're bending them like that, you end up bending them more one way than the other.
Too much. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just easy to just get some weight on them, push them down flat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, than trying to like manipulate them. Also, you've got no idea really what effect the glue's going to have and that sort of stuff. So even if you do try and straighten them, unless you pin them flat, there's a good chance you're going to be watching it and straighten them up afterwards anyway.
Right.
Alright, so there are my 5. Gary, yeah, she has been driving me nuts about getting back in the studio, but I've needed to get back in the studio. Robot Spark, hey there Mal, just wondering what's your favourite brand of modelling supplies? Think Vallejo, Army Painter. I've got a few favourite brands. For my flocks and my foliages, I like Javis. Yeah, it is Javis. Yeah, I like Woodland Scenics. I'm more of a fan of Army Painter for the model paints than Vallejo. But most of my paints and that sort of stuff tend to be house paints, to be truthful. Other than that, just soldering on. I use mixes of everything.
It comes to hand, don't you? Really?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, Vallejo is a very good brand of paint. Actually, a lot of artists use Vallejo acrylics. Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very good quality. Yeah.
Right. I need to take that centimetre off all of these. See, I should have done this when I was actually doing the piece. Yeah, because I'm cutting it out twice. But I always find it a little bit better to do it sort of after the fact for some reason. Yeah. I am doubling up my work, which is silly, but
I think you can always cut a little bit more off, but you can't glue a bit back.
Yeah.
Back on again, can you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is the bit where I have to watch my fingers.
Yeah.
All I'm doing now is just beveling the edges down, because obviously with these being sandbanks, we're going to want to sort of have them as a slope. And so I'm going to be sanding them, but when I sand them, yeah, it's always, it's always better if you can remove the bulk with a blade first.
Yeah. Well, you're not breathing in all that dust as well.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, if you sandpaper, it's a bit of a health hazard, really.
I mean, you don't actually generate that much dust with this stuff. MDF is nasty for that.
Yes, it can be. Yeah, it's got formaldehyde in it.
Yeah.
So you got that coming into your lungs along with the dust as well. So you should really wear a mask.
I used to work, yeah. Well, I didn't used to work. I used to live in a village where they had a factory that made MDF.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And every year, yeah, the factory would get fined by the environmental agency, the maximum possible fine.
Really?
Yeah, and they just paid it off because it was cheaper than operating in Germany. They were a German company.
Yeah.
Yeah. And every so often, You got what you call it. There was also a factory in the village, yeah, that made Cadbury's, and they made muffins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So depending on who burnt what, yeah,
Yeah.
the village would either smell of burnt muffins,
Yeah.
hamster cages, or both.
Well, you know, I grew up as a small child right next to the biggest Michelin factory in Europe.
Oh God.
Up at Oak Hill, there's a huge Michelin factory there, and it was in full production when I was a child, and that used to smell like. And there's only one way of describing this: burnt cheese on toast. Have you ever put
Really?
cheese on toast under the grill and burnt it?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it used to smell like. Yeah, strange kind of burnt cheese on toast smell. Burnt cheese. Yeah.
It's okay. It's coming together all right.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's fun done. At least we haven't Fred to cut. I'm not going to cut myself. Well, it says we've got about 102 people watching. Question: is there any popular brand product you would avoid like the plague? Ooh, me. It's anything I don't go anywhere near. To be truthful, I can't think that there is.
Most brands and most things have at least something that's of use, don't they? Really, when you think.
Yeah, I
about it in
mean,
a practical
for them
sense.
for them to survive commercially, you know, they've got to be of use to someone. You know, so it's hard to say because I mean,
I wouldn't buy a Zanussi fridge. The doors don't shut very well. That's a bit out of context.
stand those up. So one done. Yeah, on to the next. Eek, how many fingers, Mel? Calm down. You have no confidence, you lot, you know. You're awful. Extruded foam insulation with fiberglass in it. What's that? I don't know what extruded foam are you... That you can get that. That's Kingspan, isn't it? Kingspan has fiberglass in it, which is why I don't tend to use it. It's also... I don't like what you call it. It doesn't stand well and it's a bit spongy for my likings.
It's a bit difficult to work with. It's very sharp, and your fingers as well. You really need gloves to handle anything with fiberglass in it. We used fiberglass at Star College when I was there in the sculpture department.
Right.
And I remember thinking it was a bit of a treacherous material to use. You know, you soak it in the resin, but it's still sharp.
Yeah. It's just a nasty mix of chemicals, isn't it? No doubt, what you call it, at some point, it'll be like asbestos. They'll turn round and they'll go, right, we really shouldn't have used this stuff. It's probably causing cancer and we've got to take it away from everywhere. I mean, it's like when they get the spacesuits on site, isn't it, when they're doing the asbestos removal?
Right, yeah. The asbestos is something that was a popular building material in the 50s and 60s.
Oh, they built everything out of it.
Actually, it's quite safe as long as you don't saw into it. Or,
yeah, if you don't break it.
In any way. Yeah, it's okay.
Have you seen the loose bit hanging just by outside our stairs?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. It's perfectly fine if it isn't broken. There's a smash bit right by our stairs. It's like, right, thanks for that.
Yeah.
So, there on there. Next one. Come on, guys. Celotex, because the metal that needs to be peeled off. Right, yeah, Celotex has the fiberglass in it. Tin mind or board, usually yellow with the element. Yeah, that's the stuff. Brian, I do recommend the Terrainiacs group. Link is down in the description, by the way, folks. If you want any advice on materials and stuff like that, you can always get a ton of information on the Terrainiacs group. It's good for that sort of stuff.
Because the plus side to fiberglass is it's really, really tough.
Yeah.
Once it sets, it's really, really hard and almost indestructible. They used to make buses out of it.
Really?
Yeah, the bodies of buses. Used
Then
to be
again, they make
fiberglass.
boats and stuff out of fiberglass, don't they?
They do, yeah. And the old freewheeler Robin Reliant.
Was that made out of fiberglass, was it?
Fiberglass as well, yes. They said if they burst into flames, they went up like a Roman candle, actually.
For my American viewers or my non-UK viewers, yeah, The Robin Reliant was a three-wheeled car.
A small three-wheel.
Yeah, it was a weird one. Wasn't it? It
Yeah.
was invented because technically you need a driving license for a four-wheel car.
Yes.
But you could drive a three-wheel car because technically it's a trike on a motorbike license.
On a motorbike license.
Yeah, so you had the Reliant Robin,
Yeah.
and they were notorious for tipping over, weren't
They
they?
used to, yeah, because with one wheel at the front and two at the back. So they, or if you put too much, sometimes they made them into vans. If you put too much weight in the back, it would tip up. The front wheel would tip up, like a bucking bronco. Yeah.
God, you used to see those round all the time.
Well, they were very popular in this area because they're very cheap, you see, and this is a low-income area, so people bought them.
Yeah.
I once moved house. A friend helped me move house in a Robin Reliant. So
How many trips?
About 15. The whole household of stuff in the back of one.
Call that abomination a car once more. I dare you, Mel Benjamin Shine. Come on, we've all grown up with Del Boy, haven't we? And his what you call it?
There's three-wheeler, yeah.
I mean, he made it iconic. There's a pub up the road, and they've got a Robin Reliant on the top of the garage.
It's on the roof.
Yeah.
I don't know how they got it. They must use a crane to get it up there, I think.
Quick check of the PayPals, make sure I'm not missing anyone. No one missed yet. It's quiet night on that count. Reliant Robin had a reverse gear, so it needs a car has a reverse gear, so it needs a car license. Is that right?
I didn't know that, actually.
No, I didn't.
I never owned one, so I wouldn't know.
I think floral foam produces formaldehyde gas when it's wet. I haven't heard that one, but I do know a florist. Yeah, we've got Donna around the corner, haven't we? She used floral foam, so I'll have to ask her about that.
Yeah, it's quite possible it might have a little bit in there, yeah.
I think everyone knew the car by now since Clarkson did some stunts on it in Top Gear. Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah. Good old Jezza.
Again, the formaldehyde thing is only a cautionary note. It's okay if you use it carefully. I mean, people in the, let's face it, in the funeral directors use it all the time on a daily basis.
We used to use it.
Yeah. So you can use it. You just have to be careful,
In the prosectorium with the with the dead bodies when we did our anatomy lessons.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were all. What they used to do is they used to preserve them in formaldehyde. Now what they do is they plasticize them.
Oh right. Yes.
Yeah, and they actually cover various bits of the dead body with a plastic resin coating.
Right.
So it's essentially you can take it out of the prosectorium and take it into a classroom.
Yes.
But it's still a cadaver.
Yeah, it's got to seal any oxygen getting in there. So it's same as formaldehyde, really. Yeah.
But I remember the first time we were going to go see bodies, and it was up at Manchester Medical School, and someone who'd been before had turned around and said, "Listen, the formaldehyde is really going to get to you. Yeah. So what you got to do is you got to get Vicks. Yeah. Get a good dollop, a Vicks vapor rub. It's like a methanol rub." For clearing your nose if you've got a cold.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you get that, so you're supposed to get that stuff and rub it. Yeah, round your nose. Well, it makes your eyes water.
Yes.
So anyway, we go into this prosectorium.
Yes.
Yeah. All of us, our eyes are streaming from where we've wedged Vicks up our nose like idiots. And we get in there, and they've got vacuum tables. They've got holes in the tables that suck the formaldehyde gas away, so you don't even smell it.
Oh no.
And we're all streaming and crying around these dead bodies. I remember took Kez down to the prosectorium at Birmingham once, just as a jolly.
Yeah.
I was going down to see the guy who run it, Mike Chen, and and he was like, she turned around, because his assistant was processing a body at the time, so she was pulling all the fat out of a body. Yeah, and and Kerry was looking at it sort of thing, and Mike turned around to me and goes, "You're not bothered by any of that, are you?" She says, "No, the only thing that bothers me, is heads." Yeah, which was the wrong thing to say. Yeah, because one of the first things they do when you donate your body to medical science is they take your head off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they store it. The reason being is so that you're not identifiable. There's no chance of a medical student coming into the prosectorium and seeing their granddad on the table.
Right, yes, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, they're not even allowed to. There's a rule now. It's 80 years between when you can donate your body, and when you can the body can be used. So they have to save a body for 80 years before they can use it if you donate it to medical science for medical. Yeah, just on the basis that's the minimum amount of time that can guarantee that there's no chance that anyone living will recognise your body. So anyone working on it in 80 years' time won't know your body.
Right.
They had an instance of someone actually working on their granddad and not realising it, and then recognising a tattoo. But anyway, yeah, Mike. So they chop the heads off, of everybody that comes in, and obviously these bodies are used for like hundreds of years. I mean, there's bodies in medical schools now that from the turn of the century, and they're still using them. So anyway, they've got all the heads for them in this massive cabinet. And Mike just grabs this this handle, pulls it back, and there's got to be 200 heads in jars. Yeah, all staring out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
I mean, I remember when I did it with the army, and the army we didn't see preserved bodies. We went to an autopsy to see fresh bodies. Yeah, but we did have the anatomy lessons, and we went to do like the prosectorium. And when we were in the prosectorium, the guy, the corporal in there, turned around to one of the lads and goes, "Go get the milk out of the fridge." Yeah. Lad goes over to the fridge, there's boobs in there.
A friend of mine, his father was in the Navy during World War II.
Yeah.
And he was an orderly, and part of his job was he had to learn how to shave and cut hair on a boat.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, that was part of the job. So they started off with a balloon. And he had to, a wet shave with a razor. He had to wet shave a balloon, and he had to wet shave balloons all day until he learned how to wet shave a balloon on a moving boat with it moving all over the place. And then he moved on to a dead body, and he had to shave a dead body. And they put the dead body in the seat, and apparently it sat up and burped.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The gases. There's a really good one actually.
He nearly had a heart attack on the spot.
We've gone into this autopsy. Yeah. And drill sergeant turned around and he'd go, "Jono, come here." Yeah. Look into her eyes, and there's a nerve in the base of your nose that even when you're dead, if you flick it, makes your eyes blink.
Oh. Really?
Yeah. So the sergeant come down and flick this nose. She was only a young girl. She must have been about 16. Died in a car crash. Yeah, mangled from the lower half, but pretty normal from upward. But she blinked with crystal clear eyes. And Jono went flying out of that room. So, I mean, it was like, zoom, he was gone. Do you mind? I'm eating.
Oh, sorry.
Polystyrene, what kind? HDF, high density. Yes, I do change. Oh, the days in the Army Medical Corps where we used to run IVs into it. Do you know what? I was telling Corbin about running IVs into each other's arms. Just last night. He's got picked for the cadets medic team.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, so, Dad's a medic, so...
Yes. Chip off the old block.
Yeah, too right.
Yeah.
So I was telling him about how we used to learn to put drips in and stuff like that, and how we used to have beer competitions. Win a crate on how many catheters you can put in your arm. Yeah. 27 is my record. Yeah, for getting it in my right arm. Never use your left arm, you need that. I'm left-handed. Yeah, but I managed to get 27 all in. Yeah. Didn't get the crate.
Yeah.
Captain Yarwood, 45 in one arm.
Ooh.
45 cannulas in one arm. And you've got to put them in yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Dear.
But, those were the days when you used to come back after being out on the RAS, and the first thing you do is put a drip in yourself to make sure you were well hydrated and your electrolytes are sorted for morning. You wake up, no hangover whatsoever.
Right, that's the trick, yeah. Well, whenever I do have a drink, and I don't drink very much, only occasionally, but I always drink gallons of water at the same time. And the next day you wake up feeling okay.
Yeah, it's dehydration.
Yeah.
That's all it is with alcohol. Alcohol's is a diuretic, isn't it? Makes you piss like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. Actually, tea does the same thing.
Yeah. Right. Just let me take that bit off.
That's right.
And then I've got to do that one. I'll get onto some sanding. Question, Mel. How do you find the Luke's APA stuff for small bases scatter? Just asking for a quick project. If you're talking about his materials, generally they look fine from what I've seen. I haven't had much of a Luke, yeah. But Luke's stuff is generally pretty good, to be perfectly honest. I tend to avoid the smaller sort of cottage manufacturers for basing materials and stuff like that. And the only reason I do that, and I stick for like the bigger manufacturers and the stuff like that, is continuity of supply. Yeah, with Jarvis, if I show you very quickly on this camera, In fact, let me show you very quickly on this camera. No, I can't do that because that's stapled on. Yeah, if you look up at the top there, you can see all my jars. Jarvis, yeah, they still supply every mix of flock they've ever made in the past 60 years. Oh, so if you made something 60 years ago, you can still get the exact scenic mix to match it. And I did this thing. I did some work on the D-Day board. Yeah, when I was doing my D-Day board, and I've got some diorama tufts. They're like little tufts with flowers and rocks on, and you just stick them down. Nice scenic bits. And I'd only got so many of them. And so I'd laid half of them down, and then I went to reorder some more, and it was from a cottage supplier, and he'd stopped doing them. And I was like, right, okay.
Yeah, that happens to me all the time in the art world,
Yeah, how do I finish this? I need to match it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was a problem. So since then, yeah, nothing against small cottage suppliers. I just prefer to buy my materials from someone I know I can get them from in the future. Now, if you're just doing a one-off build and you know you're not going to be revisiting it in the future, cottage suppliers like Luke and stuff like that are perfectly fine. Yeah, and to be truthful, throw some quids their way. It's how we support our hobby. Yeah, if you're a commission builder, if you're doing any large projects that you're going to be adding on over time, then either when you buy from your cottage industry, buy a lot, yeah, like 2-3 times how much you need, so you've got it saved for the future in case you do need it for the future, or stick to a more established manufacturer, Jarvis Scenics, Jarvis Scenics, you know, Javis, Jim and Avis. That's the couple who made it, Jim and Avis. Javis.
Javis, yeah.
It's taken me 5 years to get that right. Yeah, Woodland Scenics, Knock, Scenic Express. They're all companies that have been around for quite a while. It will work its way out in a couple of weeks. Why? What's that, Tim? What have I done? Mel's tip is that air won't get in its centre instead of full. Ah, right, okay, yeah. But I'm from cold. You're kidding, right? Let's not do this virtual comparison of, oh, it's colder here. Because, yeah, you may be from North Canada, but you can guarantee at some point, yeah, someone will pipe in and say, I'm in the South Pole. Yeah, it's cold enough for us, and that's all we need to say. It doesn't need to be any more colder for us, and we're not in a competition of who's the coldest, because you never win those competitions.
In Chicago, they used to get these weather systems called an Alberta Clipper. And that came down from Alberta in Canada and came across down the lake, so it would always deposit about 5 feet of really dry powdery snow all over Chicago, and they get it every single year. Any other city would bring it to a complete standstill. It's incredible. And they get drifts 10 feet deep because it's powdery.
Yeah.
It's very, very dry. You know, it's not
so it blows around a lot and gathers.
Yeah, it gets everywhere. Yeah.
So we don't get snow like that anymore, do we?
No, they forecast snow here actually the next few days.
It's going to be a sprinkling.
It's going to be 1 or 2 inches.
Yeah.
4 or 5 feet, I don't think.
That being said, the entire city will turn to chaos.
Oh, I'm sure it will, yeah. And the rail system will stop us to say it's one kind of snow. And
oh, yeah, wrong kind of snow.
Yeah.
We'll discover that the council hasn't spent money on gritters. As per, yeah? Did what hurt? I don't know what hurt. Oh, Luke sent us a £5 in. Thank you, buddy.
Nice one.
Yeah, see if there's a message with it. Right, well, we're tenner to our 150. So we're getting there. No message, but thank you, Luke. It is appreciated, buddy. Right, so they're done now. And if I very quickly show you, it's not a bad shot, is it?
It's looking good. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've basically cut out my pieces, I've recessed them by about 1 centimetre, variable, you know what I mean, a little bit more some cases, a little bit less some cases. I know I've got to sand them yet. Now when it comes for sanding, I'm not looking at getting them perfectly smooth, I'm just looking at getting rid of the harsh transition lines. We're going to be applying filler around the edges of these to blend them in, yeah. Filler will easily go over something where we've got rid of the transition lines, but if you haven't got rid of the transition lines, no amount of filler and smoothing is going to smooth it off. You'll have problems. So you're better off coming in with a bit of sandpaper, smoothing it down, which is my next job. Snow right now, here in California, Lucas me. Oh, Moggy. Oh, Oh, Tim, we knew that was coming. What? What have I done? Right. So, sanding. Right, heavy grit sandpaper. Yeah, because you need to get the volume down. It's not about getting it smooth, it's about removing the material, if you know what I mean. Finer sandpaper will give you a much smoother finish, yeah, but we don't need to do that because we're using filler. Yeah, so I'm not really, yeah, I don't even really need a mask for this. I know you're going to lambast me for dust and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, but if you can actually see the amount of dust that's coming off here, it's not an issue. All I've got to make sure is that when I clean it up, I use a damp rag. Yeah. So I don't brush it and throw it into the air. Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, I don't really have a problem. And this is all it's going to take to smooth these bits out. Yeah. What I don't want is I don't want these flat tops. So you see how this is like a plateau? Yeah. Completely unnatural. So I need to break that up. Hello. Good to know. There's a right chat in the chat tonight, isn't it? This is the odd bit about it. It's just ongoing. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about the colour as well, and I was thinking about the fact that sand is always darker the closer it is to the water. Yeah. But also, if you're doing something like Pacific or coral atolls or anything like that,
yeah, you want to do all those.
You want to put a bit of pink in there as well, yeah, because you know the beach is basically powdered rock, and sand is basically powdered rock. Well, obviously in the Pacific, you've got coral mixed in with that as well. It's powdered, so that gives it a slightly pinkish kind of tinge, because coral is usually a pinkish, reddish kind of colour.
Right.
So for the Pacific coral atolls, the sand there is a little pinker. And then you might get, like, let's say on a D-Day beach, where it would be more like you'd find in Brighton, you know, the colour of the sand was the same.
Well, when I was researching, do you know there's black beaches, there's red beaches, there's every colour, green, where the sand's mixed with the algae. Yeah. You know, from tropical, and it's washed down, it's literally into the sand.
Yeah, the black beaches, of course, are volcanic islands like Ioma and places
like we've got black beach sands up in Anglesey.
Really?
Yeah, there's a black sand beach in Anglesey. Wow. And I'm going to have to check the geology, because it can't be volcanic.
Yeah. I wonder what could have caused that, because it's usually volcanic.
Actually. Yeah. I mean, normally.
Interesting.
You and your Brits and your centimetres. It's hard for me to figure out millimetres, centimetres, and millilitres. Tell me in inches and ounces. I tend to work in inches and ounces, to be truthful, but at the same time, it's weird in Britain because you do get used to working in both, don't you?
We've got a dual system.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do here, yeah.
You know, so I mean, we do work in feet and inches. I mean,
proximity of Europe.
yeah. I mean, to be truthful, the metric system is more Europe than Britain, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, in the States and Canada, I believe they still use the old system.
The imperial.
Yeah, imperial.
That
system,
we gave them.
Yeah. Yours and all that, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Very quickly, just to show you what we're sort of working on, and just to give you an example, that sanding, has taken it from that, which is sort of a hard bevel with a flat edge, and you can just see by just working over those edges, and just working over the top, we've made it into far more looking like a sandbank, which is what we're aiming for. Yeah, so all I'm going to do is, as we chat, I'm just going to carry on and scrape through these. My main aim before we finish the show is to get all these sanded. Yeah, ideally I'd like to get them glued and weighted down, ready, so I can come in tomorrow and throw some filler on them. Okay. Yeah, and then they should be ready for painting the time after that. 1 metre, 100 centimetres, 1000 millimetres. Couldn't be more easy. Here we are. We've got the metric imperial debate.
It's easy until we start doing the conversion. To inches, you know, then it gets a bit. I think a metre is 39.5 inches. I think. Pretty much.
39. I don't think it is.
I know it's more than a yard. It's more than 36 inches.
Actually, no, it is 39.5.
Yeah, is it?
On.
Yeah, no problem.
Well done, Fredicus.
Didn't realise I was so accurate.
Kez is texting me. What's she after?
Mhm.
I'm not just saying sorry. Disturbing me during a live show. What's she like? Imperial is king. Mel, have you ever used a 3D printer? No, it's not something I want to get into, to be truthful. Nothing against 3D printing, it's just I need to spend my time on this sort of stuff, not learning new technologies and that sort of stuff. Yes, I could. Yes, I should, because it is part of terrain and it is becoming a bigger thing. I've got a talk terrain video coming on it soon on 3D printing. Yeah, but like I say, it's if it comes down to where I spend my effort and my time, I want to spend it on doing this sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Rather than learning a new technology and printing stuff out. I'd rather make it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, something that's handmade always has that extra feeling about it as well. It's been handmade, so every item that you make has an individual feel to it.
Yeah. I think also there's the process of making.
Yeah, also that. Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's
yeah, you know, there's a huge element of what you call it, of, you know, I'm not even sure what the right term is.
I've always found that in the process of doing something, I come up with other ideas.
Oh yeah.
So if you cut out that process, you cut out the possibility of something during which time you might get further ideas or further kind of thoughts about what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm completely with you on that one, Fred. What you call it? I just think I like creating. I like the process of creating. Yeah.
Hands-on.
I can certainly see the benefits of 3D printing, especially in this game.
Yes, of course, yeah, yes, practical application, yeah.
You know what I mean? But that being said, it's not what I want to do. Mel, I could make those out of 2 or more pieces of foam board. Make what? These? I'm not sure if you get if you get the foam board to give you a base that was flat enough, mate, to be truthful. I mean, you could give it a try.
It's certainly worth a try, yes. Yes, you can get that in different grades, can't you, with thickness.
Well, what's the thinnest foam board you've seen? I think 3 mils thinnest I've seen.
Yeah, about 3 I think is about right.
Because foam board's used for mounting pictures, isn't it? It's the hard stuff that goes behind the picture in a frame.
Yeah, you can use it next to artwork because it's acid free.
Is that what it's like?
Yeah. It's one of the reasons artists use a lot. It's coated with acid-free paper either side.
Right.
So you can put it into contact with things that won't degrade that material. You know.
Right. Got you.
Or anything.
Got you. Because we just treated it as it's just got cardboard on. Well, I mean, from our point of view, the cardboard's only there for reinforcing it, if you know what I mean.
Yes, it is. Well, yes, I suppose that is the reason. Give it structural strength.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, it is acid-free as well. So a lot of artists use it to back their paintings with.
Right.
It's light. It's not heavy, you know.
Yeah. It's a big help for all the detailed stuff, windows, doors, barrels. Yeah, I can certainly see that for the gribbly stuff, 3D printing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And to be truthful, if I was to go down the 3D printing route, it's what I'd use it for.
Yeah.
You know, creating the little fiddly stuff that takes so long to scratch build.
The detail, yeah.
Yeah. Just wipe that. So I don't get too much dust. So that's 2 done. Yeah, and there's no reason why I can't actually glue these now.
Right, yeah.
So, no more nails. Right, when I'm gluing these, what I'm doing is I'm going to use no more nails rather than PVA because it's a grip adhesive. Yeah, there's less warpage involved. Secondly, I'm only going to put little spots on. I'm not going to put any continuous lines because the continuous lines are what cause the problem with the warping because they shrink and get shorter.
Oh.
Yeah, so if you just put dots on, it can't warp.
That's interesting, I didn't know that.
And also no more nails because it's like a paste. Yeah, you don't have to weigh it down with it being bent. The paste sticks it and holds it flat.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So the issue of it being warped earlier is no longer an issue. So that one's done. Yeah.
So how long does that take to dry?
That'll dry for tomorrow, but within 5 minutes it's dried enough that I can continue working on it.
Oh right, so it's really quick drying.
Yeah. So if I want to carry on and I want to throw the filler on this before we go home, yeah, I'll be able to.
Yeah.
And then just walk away, leave it, come back in the morning. Yeah. A lot of the materials we use and a lot of the things that we do is about time. Yeah, because all our jobs is multiple layers. Yeah, and so the quicker we can reduce the time in between doing those layers, the quicker we can do the project.
Yes. Yeah.
And so we'll do things like, if we're gluing a bit of polystyrene down, we'll glue it down with PVA, but we'll use a couple of spots of hot glue to instantly fix it.
Right.
Just so it's fixed enough for us to do the next stage on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the PVA will dry over time while we work.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so a lot of that stuff is time management stuff. That one's in. Make sure I'm not missing any comments or missing any donators. Hey, it's striking. Creativity is the application of the software prior to the printing, so unless you can use that software, you'll be a step removed from the initial creative process. Yeah, and there's something about 3D printing that it's two avenues, okay? A lot of people get this confused. One of it is the creative side, where you've got the software, you design what you want to print. Yeah, you design it, you print it. That is a creative process.
Yes.
Yeah. The other side is you've got the printer and you go online and you find print files for things someone else has designed and you print those. That isn't a creative process. That's just shifting the point of manufacture. Yeah. All you've done is move the manufacturing machines into your house and made the savings that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not actually the creative process. So for me to use 3D printing, I'd want to go down the route of designing the stuff myself. Yeah, and actually use it as a creative process. The downside is it's a large, steep learning curve. I mean, if I'm going to spend time learning something new, there's other techniques I'd rather spend my time learning.
Yeah. And when I worked in the university in the arts college, in the arts department, they had a 3D printer there in the sculpture department. What would happen is the tutors or the students would make the design, and then the technician would use the printer. So they didn't have to learn how to use the printer.
Right,
the technician would use it on their behalf.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that makes sense, to be truthful.
Yeah.
But
that's the ideal scenario. For
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with 3D printing for me. If I was to do it, it would have to be the full process. And to be perfectly honest, I don't have the time to commit. I also don't have the money.
Well, they're expensive, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think for a decent one, I wouldn't want to go in with a budget one. So you're looking at about £1,000. And then if you actually turn around and say, well, as a terrain tutor, how often am I going to, how often am I going to use it? Not enough to justify dropping £1,000.
That kind of money, yeah. I thought they were more than that, actually. Yeah.
Well, they can be, but you can get decent ones for about £1,000 now. A couple of my friends have got them. Yeah, and you can get them. But like I say, it does come down to this issue of where do I want to spend my time? And like I thought, I mean, I may get into 3D printing in the future, but I don't need to. Corbyn's taught it at school. It's part of the national curriculum,
Really?
3D design.
Good heavens.
Yeah, he comes back with stuff he 3D prints at school.
Well, good heavens.
He does laser cutting, he does 3D printing, and I'm just sitting there going, oh son, you are coming to work for Dad.
School's changed a lot since I was at school.
I'll tell you what really got me, sitting down, I was doing some homework with Willow. Now Willow is in primary school, okay, and the homework she was doing, it was maths homework, and it's quadratic equations.
Yeah.
So balancing an equation where you've got variables on both sides.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called quadratic equations. And we got a couple of friends of Kerry's, Dom and Jess, and they're about what, early 20s, just finished their degrees.
Yeah.
And I turned around and I sort of said, Willow's doing quadratic equations. And Dom turned around and he goes, but she's in primary school. We didn't do that till GCSE.
Good heavens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I turned around and said, I didn't do it till A level.
I never did it at all.
I know, but my daughter is doing what
it.
was considered A-level material.
A-level material, yeah.
When 20 years ago, and they're doing that in primary school now.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And you look at it, it's like, it's still a DIY hobby controlling the actual printer. I bet it is. Yes, 3D printed from Hero Forge, Minis, Thames book. Yeah, so you can get stuff printed from printers. Got my Ender 3 for 120 quid, and it's printing as well as a £1,000 printer. Is it striking? I've heard good things about them. I didn't realise they were that cheap.
That is a low price.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. I have a feeling it.
120, yeah.
Is the Ender 3 one of those you have to put together yourself? Because a lot of them come as kits.
Oh, I see.
And
yeah,
you put
so
it together.
can assemble it. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is fine, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, the sort of person who's ordering a 3D printer tends to be the sort of person who can assemble it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, because they have a laser cutter and everything, don't they?
They don't have a laser cutter in them.
Oh, I thought they did.
No, watch. A laser cutting is something separate. Laser cutting is a different machine. I mean, Kai's got one and Nick's got one. Yeah, but it's a complete different set of technology. But, yeah, I have looked at getting a laser cutter as well.
Yeah.
Because they're handy. They're a lot more handy than 3D printers to me. But even Corbin's learning that. Yeah, first week at school, at high school, he comes home and he's laser cut himself like a tic-tac-toe game with counters out of acrylic and MDF.
Wow.
Yeah, put it all together. And I was like,
yeah, well, that's incredible. Yeah.
What else can you do, son? Come sit over here.
It's a very well equipped school, that sounds like.
To be truthful, Moorside is a good school, but it's what they're expecting in the national curriculum. And I suppose, you know, what they're looking at is 3D printing is going to be a big thing. They are going to need lots of 3D designers.
It's a thing of the future, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, introduce the topic very early on.
Absolutely, yeah.
Big Endor board, partly. So it's partly a put together. I'm just going to wait until I can borrow someone's 3D printer to 3D print my own 3D printer. Technically, I'm not sure if you can 3D print your own 3D printer. I'm pretty sure you can get close.
I think you need a 3D printer to print the 3D printer, wouldn't you? That's the chicken and the egg.
So which came first, the 3D printer or the 3D printer?
It's looking good.
Yeah.
Nice and smooth.
Yeah, I'll just clean the dust off because I've got 2 more to do. And what are we on? 8:45. So we're doing well on time. I might even get the what you call it. Cole's saying his 3D printer has a laser cutter add-on. Right, so it's added on. Yeah.
That's an additional function to it, yeah.
Yeah. We've got 109 watching. Hello, folksicles. Hope you're enjoying the show. It's good to be back in the studio, isn't it? Remember, guys, if you are liking the stream, you can tip it down below. Just the odd nugget, but it all does go to get me the bigger screen so I can see what you're saying to me and we can enjoy your chat more. Right. So that one's done there.
I think, you know, there's an old saying that if Leonardo da Vinci was alive today, would he use 3D printers and computers?
Of course he would.
That? And the answer is, of course he would, yeah.
He'd have been over every new technology.
Absolutely. Those people in those days were into absolutely everything that was brand new, cutting edge.
Well, they developed most of it.
New technologies, yeah. Not many people know, actually, the first plastic was created by Leonardo da Vinci. Did you know that?
Go on.
He actually was commissioned to do a dinner service for, I think, the King of Milan, actually.
Yeah.
And he made a dinner service out of basically what we'd call Bakelite. He used like vegetable oils and various basic things from the ground. He didn't use like petroleum-based plastic. He used a plastic that was based on vegetable mineral oils. Right. And he made the first plastic, which apparently lasted for a couple hundred years before it eventually kind of, you know, fell out of use. But yeah, so plastic got reinvented in the sense.
It's reinvented. Look what we've come up with. Someone just read an old book.
Yeah, they say there's nothing new under the sun.
There isn't. People, yes, the sandbars have beer. I like that. Partly a kit comes mostly built with some manual assembly, around 2 hours, and some ability to follow instructions. But it only cost you 120 quid. Striking, can you send me a link to where you bought it from, please? Because at 120 quid...
Worth trying.
Well, I mean, if it was £1,000, there's no way I could drop £1,000 on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can drop 120, considering Corbin knows how to 3D print.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, he can teach me.
Yeah.
So yeah, drop me a link on that, Striking. I'm interested. Very interested.
Very interesting, yeah.
I mean, Nick's moving out now, isn't he?
He is, yeah. So we're losing that.
So my laser cutter's gone.
Yeah.
I think Belinda's going as well, isn't she?
I think Kai is as well.
Why's Kai going?
Oh, I think he had problems with his leaky roof. he had a bit of water coming in.
And they haven't sorted that yet.
I think they did sort it, but I think he's worried it's going to happen again because it's an old building, the infrastructure's old, so and he's doing very finely tuned work in there.
Well, he's doing stuff for NASA now, isn't he?
He's potentially working for NASA
yeah.
right now, yes.
Kai, he works for Exeter University as like a technical science engineering guy.
In robotics.
Yeah, and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's got like... For some reason, Exeter University have like a science lab in the building. I think it's just because Kai lived up here and they found him some space to work up here.
Yes, he lives
here.
Yes,
but his room's full of 3D printers and laser cutters and robots and drones. You go in there, yeah, and did you see when he had what won the Robot Wars?
I missed that actually. I wanted to see him. I missed
it. Yeah. He got one of the robot, one of the proper winners from Robot Wars in. Yeah. And we were driving around China Hall with the axe going on it. It was a hell of a thing.
I'm sorry I missed that.
But now he's got drones and all sorts. So it'll be sad to see Kai go.
Yeah, Kai's an incredibly intelligent young man. Yeah, he's brilliant.
Yeah. Can you make a World War I dry run with some trenches and some Germans? Yeah, done that. It's in the Let's Play make list. Sure, got from eBay. I used a 15% off voucher prior to Christmas. I think I've got one of those floating around somewhere, and if not, my mum will. Always save those vouchers for the big purchases.
Oh, yeah.
With the old Fleabay. Slowly and steady, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Does make a difference, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, the difference is like chalk and cheese, actually, after, yeah. So you think that all these rough edges would like translate through?
Yeah, they would. You wouldn't be able to blend those. Because what you'd have to do is you'd have to essentially raise the filler over the ridge line.
Yeah, mass it over.
Yeah, and it's just... You might as well just pile filler on it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then you've got a lot of weight as well.
Yeah, exactly. And not just that, you've got the other issue of it. If you drop it, it'll crack. If it's got a foam centre, it won't.
Fragile, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Brittle rather than fragile, shall we say?
Yes, yeah.
As a better term.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I think that one's about done. You can carry on for ages with this sort of stuff, trying to fine tune it. And sometimes you just got to turn around and go, no, that's done. The thing is, once it's dry, I can come back in and re-watch it, sand it anyway, and just fine tune it. Wipe that off. Right, bless him. Not what you want water leaking onto. No, you wouldn't want water. We do have a few water leaks with. Well, the thing is, I mean, the building's how many hundreds of years old?
It's a pretty old building. Yeah.
I mean, this room dates back to 1776. This one, the original ones on the site.
Doesn't surprise me, yeah.
Because this little annex.
Yeah,
they built China Hall onto this, didn't they? Because
that's right. This is an older building.
Well, you're literally next to Jebediah's house, aren't you?
That's right, Jebediah's house. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We reckon it's haunted.
It's interesting. His house is in the middle of the site, so it's almost like the site just grew around.
Yeah.
The factory grew around his house.
Literally.
Yeah. So you got this Georgian house in the middle of a factory.
Yeah. It's really weird because it's just outside. We walk past it all the time, but to think that he was actually in there.
With his family and his wife and kids.
Yeah, and the kids would have played around here. Oh bugger! I forgot to sand those edges. I forgot to sand the edges. Oh, what a mistake. It's all right. I can do that afterwards. Luckily.
What is the edges of the?
Yeah, I just normally like to just put a quick bit of sandpaper over, just smooth them.
Yeah.
But it won't be an issue. I'll just do that afterwards with a sanding block. Yeah, it's too late to do it. Well, I might as well do it afterwards as a stage than try and fiddle around now.
Yeah, because it's still drying, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm better off waiting until they dry, do it then,
yeah,
than mess round while they're not dry.
Yeah, yeah.
That's going to take quite a bit of sanding, so let's just cheat.
That's great how that stuff just slices off like that.
Oh, mate. I've made statues out of this stuff.
I can believe it, yeah. It's really...
Sculpted statues out of it, because you can get really thick stuff.
Yeah.
You get like 1 inch, 2 inch thick, and you can just cut it, sand it, shape it, engrave into it.
I've never seen anybody working with it before. It's interesting stuff.
It's great stuff, to be truthful. Absolutely great stuff, but it's our core medium. Haunted, yes, you can go do a ghost hunt. No, we don't do a ghost hunt around here. We've got proper ghosts around here, haven't we? Yeah. Now, I know that's going to cause a bit of a kick up in the comments with all ghosts and all this sort of stuff. So what I'll say is, yeah, obviously the site's been around here for, what, 400 years?
So
Close enough?
350, yeah.
350, yeah. People have died on this site.
Yes.
Yeah. Now we've got a building that's just across there, and they were doing some demolition work, and we've never had a problem with this building. Yeah. Since they've done the demolition work, yeah, security won't even go in it. Yeah.
It's almost like the demolition work kicked it off.
Yeah.
Because it was perfectly fine before the demolition work started.
Yeah, and I'm not jesting here. I'm like, the best one for me was Trevor.
Yes,
Yeah.
the security guard.
Trev, yeah, he's one of the long-term security guards. We've known him for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Stable of the site. He doesn't believe in ghosts. He flatly doesn't believe in ghosts. Yeah. Watching him trying to come in terms with that chair spinning round in front of him.
Yeah.
And then tell himself that there's no ghosts. It's the funniest thing I've seen in a while.
Yeah,
you know, when someone is absolutely 100% sure that there's no ghosts, but how did the chair move? You know what I mean? The look in their face, like...
Yeah. I remember he said to me when he went home and told his wife, she said, "I told you so."
Did a razor blade handles for wall bracing computer mouse makes a good... Oh, right, okay. People are talking tanks. But no, what do you call it? So yeah, ghosts. Definitely ghosts on site. I ain't doing a ghost hunt. No. Not interested. Not getting involved in that. Nothing good will come of it.
I once watched a very interesting documentary.
Yeah.
In the US, when I lived there, about, you know, when people see UFOs or things like that in the sky.
Yeah.
Or even have those alien abduction experiences.
Go on.
Well, they came up with an explanation for it.
Of course they did. Go on.
And it's one of the most bizarre things I ever saw. It's tectonic plate movement. When graphite snaps, apparently it creates plasma.
Right.
Which is this like gas which comes out of the rock, comes up through the surface of the ground, and then once it hits the air, forms a luminescent ball, which can then go flying off in all different directions, apparently. And
I'm calling shenanigans on that one.
This is the plasma from the snapping granite in the substrata in the rock. It can also cause people to have hallucinations. It can affect your mental faculties. So what they did was they got this guy in a laboratory with a special helmet on, and they snapped granite in the area where his helmet was.
Yeah.
And apparently he started having these experiences of there was people in the room, he was seeing things that weren't there.
Shit.
Really, yeah, just from granite snapping.
How cool is that?
And the plasma being in his
we have a haunting. I live near an old mental institute. Oh yeah, that'll be haunted. My friend likes to go to haunted houses. Right, yeah, someone, if you're a god, say yes. If you want one item, it's probably still quicker to make it out of foam and filler. And for terrain, nothing beats a pair of hands.
No,
that's so true.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, for terrain, I mean, when it comes to 3D printing, one of the things that's always got me is size. You know, I've seen people print houses, but they take days.
I can imagine, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And your printer bed's only that big, so if you want to do a hill that big,
you're doing it.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to get rid of terrain making just yet, but I was actually thinking about this, and it's actually the topic of a different video. But my gut feeling is, by the time 3D printing is a situation where it invalidates what we do as terrain makers, it won't matter, because we'll all be playing around with augmented and virtual reality anyway.
Yeah.
We won't be playing in the physical world.
Right, yes.
Do you know what I mean? Because
it'll be all virtual.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, I mean, we're already looking at augmented reality. Deployment of augmented reality is going to be a lot cheaper than deployment of manufacturing processes and machines. It's a pair of goggles.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
The way of the future. I mean, the old industrial past is precisely that. So we're moving into a new paradigm, a new mindset, really.
But like I say, I honestly do think that we're going to be in a situation that by the time 3D printing can do everything we want terrain making from terrain making, it won't matter because we'll all be playing on virtual and augmented tables anyway. There'll all be computer graphics.
Will be holographs.
Yeah, yeah. They're already doing it. You can already play computer
yeah.
games on tabletops and stuff like that.
I can believe it, yeah.
And the industry is already positioning itself for it. I mean, you've got a big powerhouse called Asmodee, and they're buying up absolutely every board game license they can get their hand on. Yeah. Not to sell. So they can make it available for download when augmented reality comes along, because people will want to sit down and play games. Yeah, and so rather than create the games, they'll just convert all the board games. So if you want to play a game, you'll download a game, and all of you will see the board in front of you. You know, and you'll play it that way. It's a brave new future.
Oh yeah, interesting future.
Got to go head for work. Right. Good seeing you, Cat. Look after yourself, darling. Hey, I must protest, Mel. It might take time to 3D print, but you don't have to stand beside it. I sleep, work and watch videos while my printer is printing. Yeah, that's very true, Mark. I've got some of his stuff here, his 3D printed stuff. For Legion, I've got to get stuck into it. Where was it? I think I put it in a box there. But no, you are right there. What you call it? Once it's printing, well, I'm not going to say you can leave it, because I've heard of people leaving it and having problems, and you know, you've got to supervise it to a certain extent, I would have thought. I wouldn't particularly feel happy leaving a manufacturing process running while I slept. No,
I've never used one actually, so I really don't know. But like I say, at the place where I worked, there'll be a technician.
Yeah, they'd only print during the day, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
When they were there.
Yeah.
And we can only do that here because there's no way they'd let me have a machine running whilst I wasn't here. I mean, we're not even supposed to have heaters running while we're not here.
Right, yes.
Shh. What they don't know. Is that Kez again? That's right. Quickly check I'm not missing anyone on PayPal. Come on. Ba 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 ba. No. We're all good. Look at Ange. Right. So, Kat's gone. Right, I can get up to shenanigans now she's gone. She's like my second mother. She keeps an eye on me. Tells me off. Right, so, we'll get some of this on here. I remember my first pint too. So do I. Vaguely.
That's how I got into art college, my first pint.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
What would you have ended up doing if that hadn't happened?
I had every intention of just, going to work in the pottery industry like everybody else.
Yeah.
Really, really. I mean, that's what everybody.
Because that's what everyone did.
Yeah. There was plenty of jobs in the pottery industry. If you wanted to work, then there was jobs there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But instead, you got drunk and ended up in art college.
Well, the way it worked out was I was supposed to sit an exam that afternoon, and I knew I was going to fail it anyway, so I went down the pub instead and had a couple of pints. And
as you do, you know what I mean?
and then I got lost. Wandered into what I thought was a municipal building.
Yeah.
Looking for a bus map to get home, being a little bit drunk, and in a town where I didn't know where I was. And it turned out it was the art college. I mistook the art college. I mistook it for the town hall. I thought it was a town hall.
So you walked into an art college looking for a buzz timetable to get home.
Yes.
And ended up in art college.
And ended up being interviewed. Yeah.
Because you were skiving an exam.
Because I was supposed to be in an exam. Yeah.
He wouldn't be here now if it wasn't for that.
It was mistaken identity actually, because they were waiting for somebody to come in to be interviewed, and I walked in through the door at that moment. They thought I was that person, so I just got shunted in.
Can you imagine when that person turned up and they found drunk you instead?
Yeah, I'm glad I never met them because I probably took their place. Yeah.
But working with foam is much more flexible. 3D printing is for lazy guys, but it can be an entry into more advanced crafting. I think when we come down to it, 3D printing has its place, doesn't it? Right, very quickly, let me show you my work, because we've sort of rounded off for tonight. Oh, I need to unglued that one. I haven't glued that one. We've pretty much done what I wanted to do tonight. Yeah, because I've got to leave these, then sand the edges, then put the filler on tomorrow when I'm in tomorrow. That means they'll be ready for painting on Monday. Yeah. And I also need some more No More Nails.
Where'd you buy that? Which store sells that?
Anyone at B&Q normally.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, yeah. Odin, Jews, it's been a while. Thank you, buddy. You've just bought my new pack of No More Nails. So that's that problem sorted. There we go. So a little bit, but I can sand that afterwards.
Right.
The main thing is we haven't got any real harsh transition lines.
No.
You can sometimes get little lines, just like sort of there, where you haven't got it sanded perfectly flat. Trying to sand it perfectly flat can be a little bit of a problem because as you sand it thinner, yeah, its structural integrity.
It gets friable.
Yeah, and then the actual sanding can actually rip it.
We'll shred it.
Yeah, and so you're sort of playing this game between getting it as smooth as possible without ripping a chunk out.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's very much where I am.
Yeah.
That will be easy to put filler over. Yeah. In fact, I'd probably do it now if it wasn't for the fact that I've got to sand those edges and I don't want to do those while they're drying. So I'm just going to put those up now. Let's switch over to the main cam. And there we are. I think we've covered pretty much it all. And you reckon my colours match yours, Fred?
That's a very good match.
That's not bad, is it?
Yeah.
There is a video coming up on this, and me and Fred will have to have a chat about doing a bit of a video for watercolours and stuff like that. We'll have a play with that next week if you're free.
Colours, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll do a video. Me and Fred are going to do a video because he knows a hell of a lot more about colours than I do. So for the actual painting side and that sort of stuff, I'll prep some stuff together. Yeah, and we'll do a video on that.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So we can do a load of sort of that sort of stuff. What else do I need to say? Other than that, the techniques for all this sort of stuff, yeah, that video's out on Tuesday or will be going up on Patreon tomorrow. So if you're any patrons, check Patreon tomorrow if you want early access. Otherwise, Tuesday, it'll be in your feed for when you wake up. Sandbars that have beer. I love that idea. What is Mel and Fred doing today? We've been making sandbars. Right. We are on 9:05. I've reached the point and I think we're going to call it tonight. Okay. Yeah, it's been a nice, easy break-in for us. Yeah, I do appreciate your support, you three guys. Odin, Angela and Luke. Thank you for your support, guys.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, it's all going towards a big monitor so I don't have to do this all the time. Yeah. Now, it is streaming. It is working. Thursday nights is studio nights from now on. So I will see you in the studio in the future. Yeah, and once I've got things rolling, I'll start streaming informally more then. But for the meantime, we're going to call it a night. So it's good night from me.
And it's arrivederci from me.
It's good night from him. Right, see you later, folks. Thanks for a cracking show.
Good night.